Hello and welcome to Tianery. My name is Luke and I am going to continue from yesterday with the HTML and CSS3 tutorials. So in this tutorial what we're going to be taking a look at is continuation of the website. Obviously it has been left alone since yesterday, so we'll start from where we had yesterday. So in this tutorial what I'd like to do is start putting some content onto this front page, something that's a bit more interesting than lorem ipsum. So we're going to take a look at elements, div elements that actually animate. We're going to have some animated images that move from one image to another, and the way that I'm going to do that, there's a specific way in which we can do that, and I will show you how, and a variety of other things as well, like navigating to different pages. So I have drawn once again some more images. I've got all of these images here, so we've got libraries, that's one page on my current website called library, news, obviously, shop, and timeline. The timeline is probably the least interesting of the four images, but they're kind of just mock-ups at the moment. That's probably the best looking image, but still. Anyway, so let's go ahead and begin to implement this front page. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to get rid of all of this, and let's well, what's the best way to do this? Okay. So I'm going to do it this way for the time being. Oops. I'm just going to copy this 4 times, 3 times even. Right. And in each of these what we want is images, right? So in here what I'm going to do is just put in an image and call it, let's put in the news, right? So that's the news image. So we'll manipulate that in a minute. And then we'll just copy that. We'll just add in a different image here. So we will have shop. No, that's not going to be the next thing I was thinking of. It was going to be library. That's the one I wanted. As you can see, that's what it looks like on the screen. Next one is going to be our timeline. And that's appearing down there now, as you can see. And the last one is going to be our shop. Right, now this looks all good, but we want to center these images a bit inside of the actual columns. So let's go ahead and change this. Now the way that you center images is through text align. You don't center images through margin. Now there's a way in which you can center things on the screen depending on what type of element it is. If it's a text element, you can align the text with text align if it's specifically text. Images are considered, but they're not technically considered text, obviously, but that's what HTML interprets that as. So we need to do this, and that's how it works, right? So as you can see, the images have been centered. Now, what I'd also like to do is add resize these images. I want to resize these images because these images are a bit big for my liking. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to type in .col-2. I'm going to hit space. And then I'm going to type in image. What that's going to do is it's going to select all of the image elements. That's this here inside of col-2, right? So I want to select that, and then I want to say width is let's say 256 pixels, so I want to keep it at 256 pixels. But then I'm going to say height auto and height 100%. Wait a minute. I think I'm doing it wrong. 100%. No. 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 I've forgotten how you do it. I've forgotten how you do it. There's a way in which what you can do is you can essentially adjust the sizes of the images when you adjust the width of the window, right? I've forgotten how you do that. I know there is a way. Oh, hang on a minute. Hang on a minute. 256 pixels. Let's see how that works. Oh. No, that's not quite what I'm looking for, is it? Oh. I accidentally used accidentally didn't put in the 6 there. How did I do it last time? I know I could. There is a way in which you can do this. I just can't bloody remember for the life of me. Okay. Okay. Duck go time. Let's take a look at auto size image HTML5, well, CSS3 technically. Oh, max width and max height, right. I knew it had something to do with width and height, I just didn't know what. Right, so max height, right, or shall I say max width, it's going to be 100%, right, and then our height is going to be auto, I believe. Yeah, sort of. That's not quite the effect I'm looking for. Let's try 128 pixels. Okay. Well, oops. Well, it's never. It's never reaching the that max width anyway. So. Oops. Yeah, I think. I mean, these are supposed to be tutorials, but it's just me fiddling about trying to get this to work, which is a bit unusual for a tutorial. I know I should really know what I'm talking about. I do admit that, but never mind. It is what it is. So the next thing I want to do is I want to be able to, when I hover over these, I want to be able to change the image. Now, there's two ways we can do this. We can use CSS to, when we hover over the image, we can change the background image. But we don't really want to do that because that's not going to work. Not in the way that you would expect. So the best way to really do this is without using JavaScript to manipulate or change this image, we can do something else. So instead of using image, what I'm going to put down here is a div class base image and div class over image, right? So instead of doing this, I will do this instead. So what I will then do is set the background images of these classes here. Okay, so I'm going to go back into here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go into a bit more complicated stuff. A bit more, just a bit. So col2 dot base image. That's selecting the child element with the class base image on it. And then what I'm going to do, being inconsistent again, what's wrong with me? You see, I'm not very good with consistency. I don't know what it is, but sometimes I get carried away. Anyway, so what we want to do is I want to do a CSS selector, and I want to select nth child 1. And what that's going to do is it's going to get the first col2, the first one, okay, if that makes sense. So we're going to get, if we were to go into this body and we find the first col2, well, that's this one here, right? So I'm going to set background to a URL. I want to do this and then use, right? I think there's only one way to do it. Yeah, you see, there you go. So for some reason you can't apply the nth child to a element that is an immediate child to the body. How bloody stupid. As I complained yesterday, the HTML specification is all over the frickin' place. It's bloody stupid. Whoever designed the HTML specification needs to be put in frickin' prison. I mean, for goodness sake. Terrible design. Terrible. Jesus Christ. Anyway. I mean, I love web design. I really do. But when we have issues like this, it shouldn't be that bloody complicated to understand exactly how it should work. Right? It shouldn't be that difficult. God. It shouldn't. It really shouldn't. I know you're all probably laughing by now. Oh no. He doesn't know how to web design. Right. So we eventually get there in the end. I'm sure most of this is going to be me figuring out how to edit this video at the end. Oh well. So this one's going to be library. I'm going to do the same for the others as well. This is supposed to live preview. I don't know why it's not working. There we go. So we get our children, we get 3 and 4, right? So that one is going to be timeline, right? Oops. I'm so used to using tab. And this one is going to be shop. There we go. So that's what it looks like. That's all good. Then what I'm going to do, I'm just going to copy and paste all of this. What I'm going to do is when I hover over the image, not this, I don't want to hover over the column, I want to hover over the image. Or actually, actually, you know what? I'm going to do it this way. So what this is going to do is it's going to say, when I hover over column 2, which is the whole element, not just the image, I want to, I want to make sure that this image changes. Obviously I haven't set it yet, so we'll say use over, library over, timeline over, and shop over. Right. Okay. Now, so when I hover over it, it changes. Right. That's what it does. But that changes immediately, right? That changes practically instantly. I don't 100% like that. What I'd like to do is be able to fade from one image to another, right? So instead of doing this hover like this, instead what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply it to the base image, right? So I'm going to do this to the base image. And then I'm going to apply these to the over image, which is currently hidden at the moment.